Well, hey guys, we are back. It's Vanessa Green, Ray Thompson, Angler News SA, proudly brought to you by the Kingfisher. Guys, last week was an amazing show because Ray was a little more accurate.
A little.
Well, Ray's been accurate for the last 2 weeks. Well, you've been catching fish down Eastern Cape,
That's right.
But this is the KZN report. So we're going to talk about KZN, where in certain areas it's been absolutely fantastic. Some areas better than the others, Ray.
Definitely, a lot
And
better.
last week you said, go north. This week, we are going south.
Definitely south.
We are heading south. Boys,
Right
the
down.
fish are down the south coast. It is absolutely fantastic. A variety of fish, Ray, coming out.
Correct, 100%.
So, guys, before we kick off the show, as always, like we said, the show is probably brought to you by the Kingfisher. So if there's anything you need, go and check out the Kingfisher, because at this point, as we change in season, as we're getting into autumn, we have a mixed bag of fish, right? We've got edibles and we've got non-edibles.
Start of the edible season.
There we go, right?
Start of the edible season.
But there is still some non-eds around, and there's some nice non-eds around. So whatever you're looking for, you can get it at the Kingfisher. Now let's get into it, Ray. Let's start off down the south coast.
Oh, my favorite place now, eh?
So you're fishing comp this weekend?
I am, so I'm giving quite about my area.
Okay, well, I'm going to not be quite about my area because our area is down the south coast. Adam has reported hound sharks. He's
Plenty
reported
hound sharks, and nice ones too, 14 to 18 kilos.
Yeah,
Quite a
some
few of
very
them.
nice hound
Yes,
sharks. There's still the small hammerheads around.
That is correct. And bronze bream, edible season starting.
Yeah, I'm glad to report. I mean, we thought last week the North Coast was a bit early for bronze bream, but they are on the
They're
bite now.
starting, yeah.
And there's been some nice sizes down there.
The water obviously is a lot cooler down there at the moment than what
Yes.
it is off Durban.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the north coast is very warm at the moment again.
Oh, okay.
So south coast is
Yeah. Apart from the bronze bream, guys, there's been, I've seen some muscle cracker out there, Ray.
nice. There's been some nice size ones that I've seen, 6-7 kilo ones, which
Yeah.
is nice for this time of the year. It's early.
Mm.
It's actually very, very early for them.
That's what I also thought, but it seems as though autumn is coming a bit early this year.
Well, hound sharks, cold water, you know, it's going to be, if the Eastern Cape is anything to go by, and I promise you, I was down there
yeah.
on Saturday, and it is extremely cold. I told you go south to catch raggies. The raggies
Yeah.
were out of control down at Hamburg, and the water was between 14 and 16 degrees. So all that water is obviously coming up to us, that cooler water. That's why there's so much edible fish,
Right.
hound sharks starting now.
Mm.
So it's a good sign. It's a very good sign for
Okay.
a very good winter.
Okay, fantastic. Now, also speaking about other good signs, a good sign of shad around, Ray. Some
They've
big signs
started,
of
big
those.
shad.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of decent shad on the bite. And then moving on to the offshore, tuna seems to be coming
Tuna,
out.
definitely.
Yeah.
Shelly Beach area, Cape Yellowtail, albacore have been around.
Plenty
and-
albacore. Yeah, there's been a lot of albacore out on the down the south coast. That was
Shelly
coming
Beach.
out of Shelly Beach and Port Edward Ski Bar Club.
Yeah.
So some good fish coming out there. On the freshwater side, Ray. Now we're going to get into freshwater later on, where I've heard Albert and Mudma hasn't been performing this week, but the south coast and these private dams,
Yes.
that paddock
Paddock
that's been going
Some
on.
big bass.
Huge bass coming out. So if you're looking to catch some freshwater species, guys, definitely head down the south coast. Go and check out some of those private dams. And yeah, so south coast, it is exceptional. The report I have got was you could put out a bait anywhere from Hibberdene down to Port Edward, stand on any rock. This weekend we're going to get fish. Right?
Yeah.
Well, guys, you know what?
Tough.
Comment below who you think is going to be more accurate on this one, right? Whether it's Ray or myself, because I'm telling you, this weekend we are going to get fish on those rocks, right? So make sure to carry heavy tackle and light tackle, because there's something to catch on both. I mean, that's what I generally do. It's something I've learned from you as well. Carry a heavy stick, put a big stick out there, and then, you know, you got your light stick if you need to go and put out that 10 foot for that bream and your shad or whatever it may be. So, yes, there has been a couple. So the rock fishing has been good. Now moving down to Scottburgh, Rocky Bay, and Park Rainy, what have you heard of?
There's been the odd amberjack as well as at Shelly Beach. Shelly Beach has been on fire with those big ambers.
Yeah.
Park Rainy and that, they've started trickling through. Again, colder water. So it's bringing those fish through to us, and that's what we're looking for.
Okay.
Off Rocky Bay, that area, very little kuta. Okay, they don't. Yeah, very little kuta. There has been the odd tuna popping up there.
Yeah.
Other than that, not too much on the ski boat. A lot of bottoms.
Yeah.
A lot of big rock cod in
Okay.
that, catface rock cod. They're starting to move now. So yeah, there's been some fishing on the boats.
I've got reports on the rock and surf side. It was just a lot of peckers over this past weekend.
Yeah,
And
anything
nothing,
north of basically Shepston, I'd say.
yeah, so a lot of peckers around. And then moving on down to Warner Beach and Manzantoti Lovo stretch, that's your backyard.
I'm saying nothing. Competition weekend.
Yeah.
No, there's been the odd fish around, the odd pompano, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Southwesterly blowing for 2 days,
Yeah.
coming up, rain, overcast.
From what I've heard from
Water's
Gary,
warm.
nothing much has
Yeah,
been going on. There was
water's
a lot
warm,
of peckers.
not nice.
What have you heard of in the riverside?
There's been some fish on drop shot. There always is fish. Depends what you go and fish for.
Yeah.
There's little perch around. Those little cob are still there. Handle with care. Put them back, please.
Yes.
They're all undersized. They're all juveniles.
But
Look
are
after
these
them.
cob or those snapper salmon?
No, these are cob.
Okay.
They're not snapper salmon.
Right.
Yeah, they're the size of a snapper salmon. They're so small, but
Yeah.
drop shot fishing, been very, very good with them. Just look after them, put them back, guys. Don't keep them, please.
Okay, so nothing much happening on the fishing, but there is a highlight happening next weekend at Warner Beach.
Warner Beach
It's
Interclub,
a interclubs that's going on. Now we're going to have another segment with Jace pretty soon where we're going to be talking about that. That's going to be quite an event happening down at Warner Beach, right?
That is correct,
There's
my
going to be
backyard.
stalls. There's going to be lots of anglers. There's about 17 clubs from throughout the country.
Yeah.
So
This is
lots
for
of
ski boat, eh, guys?
yeah.
This is for
It's a ski boat.
This is what
Yeah,
you know.
that's a ski boat one. So we're gonna chat with Jace pretty soon about what's gonna be happening on there. But now moving on down to Durban, right? So I've heard on the offshore side, fantastic, right?
Yeah.
There's been some nice kuta. I mean, if you look at these images from Brad, that kuta is what, 15, 17
That
kilos.
is correct.
So there's been a couple of those. There's been a fair amount of snook. The kayak boys has been enjoying themselves with the
I'd
snook
just like
that's
to
out
say
there.
one thing. We're finding a lot more shoalies down south, and I'm talking from North Pier all the way down to Mamsam, Texas.
Yeah,
There's a lot of small kuta, up to 9 kilos.
right.
North of Durban are the
Yeah.
bigger crocs, the bigger fish, up to 21 kilos and that there.
Yeah.
The paddle ski guys, the ski boat guys. So if you want to catch a big fish, go north on the ski boat. If you want to catch lots of fish, go south.
Well,
It's as simple as that.
I
That's
love
what
it.
I'm saying.
I love it because there's always something to catch in KZN.
Definitely.
Big or small, we're gonna get rods bending.
Big
I'm
is
saying go
always better.
south though, guys.
Big is always better.
All right, back to
Okay.
fishing off Durban. I've heard there's stampies. I've heard there's been some grunts
Pompano.
off the surf. Pompano.
Pompano, yeah.
Yeah. And then there has been one or two sandies out here at the
Diamonds,
basin.
Yeah, diamonds.
Oh,
as
we've got
well.
some diamonds as
yeah,
well.
at night. When obviously the diamonds prefer either dirty water, overcast conditions, or nighttime. So if you're fishing for a diamond, that's what you're looking for. Nighttime being the best time, obviously, all
Yeah.
round to catch them. You need northeasterlies. Flat sea, not too much energy in the water. They don't like too much of a surge.
Right.
So if you can find any of those combinations, so there's a lot of combinations that you have to think about
Yeah.
before you choose an area to fish.
All right. Now Durban Harbour, there's been some beautiful grunter coming out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some
Grunter and
nice as
small
ones.
cob.
You know, congrats to Mr. Pereira. He's got some nice ones the other day. But apart from him, you know, the charter guys are getting some nice grunter. I've heard on the drop shot side, there's been some kingies on the bite.
And the backline guys that have been operating here have been getting stumpies and grunter offshore here.
Okay, so we don't have to travel too far off
No.
Durban to get some nice fish. Anything on the bottom side?
Bottom fishing, like I say, there's so much shark activity off number 1 at the moment. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be bottom fishing unless I went further north and as far out as possible. There's geelback around, the odd geelback, not a lot, but
Yeah.
sprinkling.
Yeah,
Reds and slingers and all those kind of fish, they're always here, but
right.
go catch kuta.
But and speaking of that, I mean, you know, I was chatting with the guys from Mshlanga Ski Boat Club this past week. And sure, the Sharks Ray is
It's-
ridiculous. I mean, the guys are really struggling to get the fish. There is a lot of fish out there. They're definitely getting the hookups, but the Sharks are relentless. They just way too much. The guys are losing so much off fish.
Well,
They're actually driving away from the Sharks to try and get onto them. So,
One of my mates went
Yeah.
off the fence here. He hooked 7 kuta, he got 2 out.
yeah.
That gives you the odds that you're getting
That's
at
what
the
I've been
moment.
hearing as well.
No good.
Okay, so moving up the north coast.
Good day, Vanessa and all anglers. Yeah, it is the 6th of March. Live broadcast from Salt Rock, Sheffield Beach. This is your weather conditions for this week. Very nice, calm water. Good color. Beautiful, actually. So yes, from this side, Martin, Kwaghoven out.
Right, Ray.
How far north do you want to go?
Well, we're gonna start off from Tonga River mouth,
Yeah,
and we're gonna
on
end off
Grey
in
Shot.
Richards Bay, right? So now,
Further north.
hey,
Further north.
further north,
Mm.
yeah. No, because I didn't get too many reports of Bolito this week.
Competition weekend. Competition weekend.
No. This is for the guys that need to get some rods bathing.
Competition weekend. Okay.
We're not talking competition. We're talking about the weekend angler that's gonna go and have some fun this weekend.
Okay.
Right.
Very simple. That Umshloti area, there's a lot of big sharks around. If you get half a chance and you can swim a grey shark, you're gonna get beaten
Yeah.
by a blackfin or a Zambi or a grey. It doesn't make a difference. If you can swim a fish there,
Yeah.
you'll get eaten.
Right.
Past that, the Zinkwazi,
Blightdale,
Blightdale
together.
area.
I've heard there were a couple sand shark, right?
there's been sand
And there was
sharks,
some
but
one or
they're
two
small.
nice. No, but look at this one from Civica.
Yeah, that's the odd
okay,
one.
that's the odd one.
It's the
Okay,
odd one.
right.
There's been a lot of those 20-kilo sandies up north, that's in Kwazi area.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been one or two nice
Okay.
fish. But yeah,
Yeah, and then Tugela produced a couple of boaties this week.
yeah,
Yeah.
quite a few, about 7 or 8.
Wow, okay.
7 or 8.
And
And
the
all on
sizes were nice.
live mullet.
Oh,
Live mullet.
Hmm.
That's what most of them came out on. Live
okay.
mullet.
Fantastic. Now moving up to Richards Bay and St.
No.
Lucia.
No, you
Oh,
forgot that.
Mtunzini. of
Zini, my
course.
friend.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Mtunzini banks.
first stream, that area, there's been quite a bit of,
No,
there's been
No
some
diamonds.
raggies around.
no diamonds this week.
There's
Are you
been one.
serious? Oh,
It has
jeez.
mainly been, yeah.
okay. So I didn't get to
Mainly
speak to Nick. I don't know where Nick has gone AWOL. He's my guy from Mtunzini, and I would have
He's catching
assumed.
raggies, I promise you now.
Okay, so I know of one diamond that came out.
Yeah, there's been one diamond around, but there's been quite a few raggies. The water's been
Yeah.
cold up that side. That Saturday, Sunday, Monday period was
Yes.
very, very nice up there.
Yeah.
There's been raggies.
Mm.
There's been, I know of one guy that hooked 7 raggies. I like 7 for some reason. I don't know what's going on with 7. 7's a
Yeah.
lucky number.
Lucky
Take the
7.
Powerball.
Yeah, of course. I think the
my, one,
Powerball.
my one mate that I know of, he hooked 7 raggies. He only
Yeah,
landed
the one
3 or
mate
4.
I know of who hooked, yeah. The one
right.
mate I know, he's that one mate that hooked 7 raggies and
Yeah, we won't say that. But
Yeah.
hooked 7 raggies. I think he landed 2 or 3, and they were
Yeah.
all big females.
Mm.
There were some big sandies in amongst the whole lot as well that were caught.
yeah,
Dean Reddy's been catching some nice fish. He doesn't want me to talk too much about all those lovely
yeah,
fish that he's catching up north, but
Well,
he has been
he
catching
has.
raggies and sandies.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was chatting with Grayson the other day, but once again, he says, goes on, he gets down to the beach, puts a bait out, first shot, within 15 minutes, diamonds on. After that, nothing.
Not a bite.
Not about the whole
Milky's
night.
wild.
Yeah,
Monkey's
Okay.
wild. You got to find the cold water.
right.
You find the odd diamond every now and again, but there's a lot of milkies around.
Yeah,
You need northeasterly. We haven't had enough northeasterly this week, so no.
okay.
But let's go further on.
Richards Bay. St.
Richards
Lucia.
Bay North. Okay.
Okay. Richards
Um,
Bay and St. Lucia. Let's round off the saltwater up there. What you've heard of. I've heard of fish on the offshore side. You tell me about the rock and surf.
Rock and surf wise, there have been some fish at Schlaban, Casarinas, that area.
Yeah,
Some nice sandies have been coming out.
right.
Sodwana, again, sandies, honeycombs.
Okay.
Sea's been a little bit flat. It's been nice up there.
Okay.
I heard of one guy that got beaten 3 times, waiting for his mates to pitch up there while he was walking along the beach.
Yeah.
We won't say
Okay,
too much
let's-
about that, but
let's
there's
not
been
go
some big
into
fish
that
up
one,
there. If
yeah.
you guys want to catch big sandies,
Yeah.
Sodwana Bay, that area north.
All
Okay.
right. Now moving on to the rocket. I'm sorry, onto the ski boat
boat.
side. Yeah, lots of crocs, Ray. Those scooter out there, and those are those nice ones. Those are those 20-kilo ones. There's been a couple. There's been a lot of bunnies for some reason.
Plenty bunnies.
Yeah, so a lot of bunnies, that sada, all those kind of
Warmer
species.
water.
Yeah, so offshore fishing off Richards Bay in St. Lucia has been really good right now. There's been the odd tuna, not too
tuna.
many this past week, but
Big tuna.
yeah. Yeah, the ones that will come out, what quality
Very
one.
nice.
Yeah, but not too many, but there's been more action on the cruiser side. So guys, that runs off the saltwater side. Moving on to the freshwater side of KZN. So I chatted with Jan, and on Jan's report this week, Midbar and Albert Falls has been pretty quiet with regards to the bass. Still water action, that's been pretty good, and now we've got a good report coming up pretty soon. So make sure to check out our podcast on the patterns to use for the autumn. They're going to change their
Yes,
feeding patterns right
yes,
now
they
as we
do.
get into autumn.
They start getting cooler, start
Yeah.
going down in the water. Yeah.
So on the podcast, Jan touches on some suggested flies to try. Apart from that, Sterkfontein Ray is still on fire, and this weekend is going to be good as well.
No wind.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with it. If there's no wind this weekend, that place fires.
Yeah, lovely. So that gold slabs are going to be on the bite. So we got trout, we got yellowfish. Bass is a bit quiet, but the private dams are producing the fish. Have you heard anything about the carp and barbel?
Well, I know Alan's been fishing and messing around a bit there, but yeah, the carp are always there. You just got to put the time in and catch. Yeah, take your time.
No,
just one of those things.
Just while we're on carp, I know a lot of guys, Ray, have been saying they're switching from the normal conventional to specimen, right? And
they want to catch bigger fish, that's why.
Oh, okay. All right. Is that the reason? Because one of the other reasons is they're finding a lot of conventional anglers, and this is why they're switching to specimen to show the guys what they can do, is because they're going a bit undergun on the conventional carp side. So they're losing a lot of line in the water, and that's damaging the fish. The fish are getting stuck in there and hurt. So yeah, I guess that's probably also the reason why they're switching to specimen. So guys, that is the freshwater side. Now that rounds off our saltwater and our freshwater side of KZN. Ray, predictions for this weekend. Go south.
I always love this part of it. Let's see. Go south. I'm telling you now.
There we go.
South.
So last week was go north. This week we go south.
Go south, guys.
Yeah. So looks like down south we've got a mixed bag of fish, edibles, not edibles, big fish, small fish.
That's correct.
You know, we got shad, we got bronze bream, we've got all your rock species, and there's the hound sharks,
hound sharks.
So yeah.
Go south.
Go south, guys. That's it. That's gonna run off the show. Ray, fantastic as always, guys. Make sure to follow our podcast, and there's some big news coming out from there. Also, that news coming out of Warner Beach next week with regards to the SA Ski Boat Interclubs. That's going to be a big event down at Warner's. So until next week, Ray and I will be back. Make sure to comment below to let us know whether you're enjoying the show. What do you think of it? Don't forget to subscribe. Guys, Vanessa Graham, Ray Thompson, Angler News SA, proudly brought to you by the Kingfisher. We'll see you next week.